We're going to talk a little bit more about Vicky Hartzler, unfortunately, but interesting element of this. So if you missed the initial coverage of it, Vicky Hartzler is this GOP representative who went on the House floor during the debate portion of the Respect for Marriage Act and got choked up by the very idea of protecting LGBTQ people's rights, meaning she didn't want it to happen. And the idea of it happening was so offensive and so saddening to her that she got choked up. And it was just a deeply cringy and just unfortunate moment that this is the state of our politics. But now her nephew's speaking out against her. So very interesting. Before we dive into his statements, let's remind ourselves about this. I honestly cannot subject my own ears to hearing her do this one more time. So I'm going to take my earpiece out, but y'all enjoy.
I hope and pray that my colleagues will find the courage to join me in opposing this misguided and this dangerous bill. I yield back.
I should have done the same.
Yeah. I was preparing for the show today and pulled it up, trying to find, okay, where do I start this and listen to it, and just got the cringiest physical reaction I could possibly imagine. Well, here is a TikTok that Andrew Hartzler, her nephew, put out responding to this.
It's more like you want the power to force your religious beliefs onto everyone else. And because you don't have that power, you feel like you're being silenced. But you're not. You're just gonna have to learn to coexist with all of us.
Absolutely. And then we're gonna get to part of this interview he did with CNN after that clip went viral. But before we do, it's a great point he's highlighting, that why is it hard to understand that you can have your marriage the way that you want it? You don't ever have to get into a same-sex marriage if you don't want to. That's not what we're proposing. It seems to be that some people within the Republican movement talk about the Respect for Marriage Act like it's forcing them to be in a same-sex marriage. No, just live your life, do your thing. We'll do ours, okay? And because the government is secular, because the government is not going to favor one set of religious views over another, we can do that. And we can respect one another's points of view / identities, etc. Very hard to understand, as he highlighted there, for many within the anti-LGBTQ right will say. Well, here's part of the interview he did later on with CNN.
They have like real consequences for young people like me. Like when I was at Oral Roberts University, I was subjected to conversion therapy like practices, and that was totally legal because of the policies that my aunt has helped put into place. So after I graduated, I partnered with the Religious Exemption Accountability Project, and together with 40 other students from institutions across the country, we are advocating for all students at religious universities to receive equal protections.
I'm curious.
Very good. So, I mean, raising the point that the policies that my aunt supports have been things I've experienced in such a negative way. In school, he was saying, subjected to gay conversion therapy, which is such a backwards and traumatic process. And that is why he feels inclined to fight for the rights of LGBTQ people. And in that process, I know I said that in such a weird way, LGBTQ people, and in the process, standing against people like his aunt, which I can't imagine how that feels, having to do that to a family member, meaning those out in the world who are fighting against the progress that you're trying to make, and one of them is your aunt. Brutal, but good job to Andrew Hartzler there.